sometimes you don't have enough. I know it's a quaint thing to say all the time, and listen, I'll trumpet that rallying cry from the head coach every single time I'll say it. I'll get the goosies, but sometimes you don't have enough. Sometimes when you don't have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and you're already missing Tyler Hero, and you don't have Duncan Robinson, and it's the second night of a back-to-back, sometimes you and you don't have enough. And that's kind of what it was tonight for the Miami Heat, who get thumped by the Brooklyn Nets 112-97 in a truly awful game. Truly awful game to watch. Miami Heat just, could not take care of the basketball, could not play fluid basketball. Herky-jerky, looked like a bunch of guys who had come up from Sioux Falls who had not played with the big club. And it was a tough go of it today for Miami. It was like, it kind of felt like it was a valiant effort by halftime. You're like, maybe something's happened. And then I feel like Thomas Bryant came in there and pooped all over the first 3 minutes of that second half. And you're like, this puppy ain't happening tonight. And I just want to, I don't want to dive too much into the nitty gritty of this game because, again, no Jimmy, no Bam, no Duncan, lost Haywood Highsmith in the midst of this game. And, Tyler Hero's still out. Last road game of just a complete BS scheduling where the Miami Heat have basically been out on the road for the entire month of November. They get themselves, off the mat of a terrible 1-4 start. They find themselves at 10-7. I'm honestly okay with where the team is at right now. I think that, you need to get healthy. You hope that once you get back home for this last in-season tournament game against Milwaukee and have all the Dame stuff that's going to follow and all that drama, I think that they are in an okay spot. I'm not really worried about where the team is at after last. If I were to say tonight feels like nothing, whereas last night really really sucked. And yeah, you'll look back on a 2-3 road trip where you blew 21-point leads to the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks. Be like, probably should have gotten one of those. This probably should have been a winning trip, and it could have been a lot better. But it was fine. It was fine. I think the thing that I was confused about, though, if I may just go back to the Thomas Bryant, why is Orlando Robinson in the G League? I don't really understand that. I thought Orlando Robinson played really well in that game against Cleveland where Bam was out. And Bam is dealing with this hip thing. It's not like this has been a thing he's missed multiple, which is kind of odd for Bam. It's not like he usually misses games, especially early in the season with banged up injuries that kind of linger. I don't understand why Orlando Robinson was sent down to the G League. That's very weird, especially with them bringing up Nikola Jovic. That's very, very strange because, Spo would rather have a root canal than play Nikola Jovic. Not that he did himself a lot of favors tonight. He stunk up the joint. Which as the card carrying member, if I'm not, I may be the president of the Nikola Jovic fan club. It was a tough go for your boy Nico tonight. He looked lost on defense. He looked indecisive on offense. The only time he looks himself is he gets the rebound, goes on the fast break, finds a beautiful pass to somebody, and that's he's obviously got to. I feel like he didn't play with a whole lot of confidence today, other than in those moments when there wasn't a lot to decide on, when he was just free flowing and he was playing his game. And again, this is a very young basketball player, just turned 20 years old, and I do think that you have the best player on the team who thinks the world of him and traveled. He was talking about how much it meant for Jimmy Butler to go travel to wherever the bleep Wisconsin that he went to, but it felt today like a guy who didn't have all of his confidence with him, and I think that that's tough because I think he came into this year thinking he was going to have a pretty big role. I thought he was going to have a bigger role on this team, and instead you sent him to the G League, and now I kind of feel like he's, I don't know, in his own head a little bit. So, and the thing that's tough, I don't know when he's going to get playing time again. So it's tough. Like, that's the performance you put forth, and I don't know when he's going to get his chance to shine again, which kind of sucks for Nikola Jovic. Such is the life in this NBA season and whatnot. But just a really, really clunky game to watch overall. Aside from Nico's struggles, the Heat just couldn't stop turning the ball over. Really, the only guys who gave you much. Kyle had a very, very spirited effort in the first half, and I felt like he was doing a good job of defending his ass off and trying to get guys involved, and but just didn't have his shot tonight. He was 3 of 10, couldn't get that to drop. Was trying again. He was really the only facilitator out there for Miami. So, and he's 37. It's tough to get a second out of a back-to-back. He and Kevin Love, the old guys, are out there playing. Kevin had a really nice game, I thought, up until he got banged up and banged knees with Mikal Bridges. I thought that Kevin almost rallied in that third quarter. You're like, oh, you were kind of like, there's a little life coming in. There's a little something. But then, Jay Rich, really I didn't feel like you felt his impact tonight. So there was that from him. And then Kayla, I think probably the most encouraging thing for tonight, if you were to take anything, would be Kayla Martin and Jaime Jaquez Jr. Jaime, first of all, start with Jaime. Love just watching Jaime Jaquez play. Plays his ass off. So many possessions. He's just never giving up. And he's just, tipping a ball out for an extra possession, or he's just diving somewhere. Like, he's just full motor, full go all over the place. And I would say probably out of anybody, and this is, nutty to say about a rookie, but out of everybody on this team tonight, is probably the best at getting his own shot and creating his own offense. His three-point shot remains a level of comfort for him. So I thought that Jaime played a really nice game tonight, all things considering. So that was probably the most fun I had. I mean, him getting into the paint and that little flip shot that he had, that beautiful fast break bucket he had from Nico on this, the little scoop and score, that was really pretty from him. So that was probably the most enjoyable thing tonight was watching Jaime still do his thing. And then, just seeing Caleb get going again. He's still really trying to work his way back. This was such an integral piece of Miami's team last year, and I do think that with, the addition of Jay Rich and Jaime doing this thing, I don't know if they're just not rushing him as much, but it has kind of felt like Caleb has been a bit of a forgotten man. And so for today, with everybody being banged up, you would think, oh, this is going to be a nice game for him to go out there and perform. And he had a nice game. He I don't think had the impact that he wanted to probably defensively. But I felt like, you saw that aggressive burst from him. That looks like it's all kind of coming back. And the Nets are a pain in the ass team for the Heat to play when they're healthy. You remember how Spo freaked out the last game where they had a run of 5 straight wins against the Heat. It's just a genuinely tough team for the Heat to play, whatever the characters are. They're long. And Brooklyn's just one of those teams where it's just tough. They cause a lot of turnovers. They're a pain in the butt between, Bridges and Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith, and a lot of these guys that just get hands in areas and are forcing turnovers. Their entire starting lineup today, outside of Finney-Smith, every one of them had 2 steals. Royce O'Neal had 2 steals today, so they were just picking the pocket of the Heat a lot. Nick Claxton had 2 steals, 3 blocks. He had a really nice game, and really just throttled Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant, I think there's going to be a lot of Heat fans that are like, I don't know if I want to watch Thomas Bryant play a lot of basketball anymore, which has been kind of that cursed spot. That backup center spot has been a source of contention for a while. It's, from Dedmon to Cody Zeller to Myers Leonard to all these guys since Jimmy's been here, and bam, trying to find that perfect guy to be that backup big to fill in the voids there. Usually, you usually fall out of love with that guy at a certain point because it's tough to keep up with what everything Bam Adebayo does. It's not easy, And he had a great performance against Cleveland. To be fair, his last time when he was giving you considerable minutes, he has been basically out of the rotation. They have gone the way of making Kevin Love the backup 5. But he was not good today. And especially the start of that third quarter was really, really rough. Was really, really rough to watch from him. So, we'll see what the bounce back. I'm not gonna get crazy. I just don't understand why was Orlando Robinson not up with the team today? That's an odd thing because they I was like, was there something that happened there? Or do they really just want him to get a lot more playing time because they were pleased with where he was going, and so they want to be in that spot because maybe Kevin Love doesn't want to play the 5, and so just continue to get Orlando more playing time. I don't know. It's possible that. I know I'm not doing this. I'm not listening to Spo's presser. I know Ira tweeted about it tonight, so maybe he'll ask on what the reasoning is for that. But just found it odd. And as far as the G League is concerned, they brought up today Jamal Cain, who I love. I love watching Jamal Cain play basketball. Cole Swider and Nikola Jovic. Talked about none of the guys really. We're so spoiled, and we always expect one of these guys to come up from Sioux Falls and just drop like 18 and have that aggressive nature about him. And it did feel just a little bit, and I don't know if that had to do with just not having, a second facilitator out there. It just felt very much like nobody could get guys set in their spots, and honestly felt like for the only guy really trying to do that was Jovic, because Jovic, even for as much as he stunk up the joint today, did have 5 assists. So he, why he didn't have that confidence in looking for his shot, he always has that confidence in setting other guys up. But yeah, Jamal Cain for those, easy putback buckets or any of that stuff, that really wasn't there for me. He did hit a 3, and then Swider, he hit those first 3s back to back coming out, and then didn't hear much from him in this performance either. It is going to be curious what the Heat are going to do with this point guard position. They brought back Jamari Bouye. I can't imagine that's going to be something that the Heat fan is thrilled about. I don't really know where they go for it though. I know I've been tagged plenty on bring back Goran. That would melt my heart. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go in that direction. I think that they have basically. I just don't think they're going to go in the direction of bringing in an older point guard. I think that they probably want to infuse a little youth. And by the way, I should mention, because I haven't, what happened to Drew Smith was terrible. His season's over. Grade 3 ACL sprain because, Cleveland, bum-ass franchise, decides, what we should do is we should have our court not on the floor. We should raise it up like this is mother bleeping March Madness. And so poor Drew Smith, who hustled his ass off, the coach obviously really likes a lot. He has his season come to an end, his first real opportunity to be on this team and stick with this team, especially with Gabe Vincent gone. And that just that blows up. Spo's really pissed about that awful court. What can you do with bum ass franchises, dude? Like the Jets, the awful turf, the Cavs, awful court. Is it a coincidence? You tell me. I don't know. Thankfully, though, the Miami Heat will be back home after this just tenacious November, where they were basically from November 8th, basically on the road the entire month, outside of one little game against the Nets on November 16th. They finally get to come home and stay for a while. And ultimately, it was a really good road trip. The first stint of it, they swept it. They went 4-0. This one, they go 2-3. It's not awful. It could have been better for sure. Especially when you blow 2 21-point leads, you would have liked to get one of those. But alas, they do get to come home. They will be home a lot up into Christmas time. Basically, only have 2 swings on the road. One is in Charlotte, one's in Orlando, with this fun week, which is going to be the Bucks, 2 games against the Pacers. Then, part of the schedule they should really take advantage of, with a couple against the Hornets and a couple against the Bulls. Fun matchup against Minnesota and Orlando. Both teams have had really, really nice years thus far. And then Atlanta, and then the 76ers on Christmas Day. So fun matchups in December, but a lot of home games. And so you get the kind of make good after what was just a crazy, crazy month of November. That ultimately the Heat were able to get their record right after just a truly terrible start for them. They were able to put things in a much more tolerable place and put themselves in a better position in this Eastern Conference to get things right in December. But as for this one, mercifully it comes to an end. It was a terrible I went on a nature walk today. I saw two iguanas mating. That was more entertaining than most of this basketball game was. So, as the Heat Twitter account says, time to go home and put their feet up for a little bit and not have to live out of a suitcase.